So the topic which we are going to cover today is, first of all, we are going to take abstract class. So what is an abstract class? I'll create a normal class. I'm not doing anything, and just create a normal class. Let's say I call it maybe something. Um, let's say I create a class with the name shape. Okay, and I'm not doing anything here. Just click finish. Okay, so here, what is this abstract class? Abstract class is one which has something known as abstract method. Now, what is an abstract method? Abstract method is something where you don't have a body of a method, you just have the declaration. Okay, you just have the signature of the method. An empty method is known as an abstract method. Okay, I'll give you an example. Okay, so here I'll say public void. I'll just give the name of the method. Let's say any. Let's say I'll take one example probably. I will open Paint for that case. Okay, let's say you have a couple of ships. Maybe. Okay, here I guess there are very less shapes. Let me open presentation. Some presentation. Okay, I'll take one example, and through that I'll explain it. Just give me a minute. Where to get the new one? Okay, let's say I have a couple of ships. Let me see if I found the one I'm looking for. It's not there. Yeah, one is this. So this is one of the shape, and second one I want is I want a cone. If I get that, I guess there is no cone. Okay, let me download from Google. Actually, I created a PPT long back. I forget to search it. Save as. Okay, so let's say I have these two shapes with me. Okay, so if I talk about area, like let's say I want to calculate the area of volume for both of them. Let's say I want to calculate volume for this one. So what is the volume of this? It is area of base into height, right? Similarly here also the volume, this formula will remain same. So if I copy paste it, this formula will remain same, right? And if I get another shape, let's say third next shape, then also the formula will remain same, area of base into height, right? Now the way area is calculated for this one and this one will change. Okay, let's take these two shapes. Let me remove the cone also. Let's take, or let it be, but yeah, we'll take it later. Let's take these two shapes. So here in this case, the first one, uh, area will be area will be uh, pi, then radius into radius. Okay, I know I'm taking a little complex example, but yeah, I'll try to make it very simple. And in this case, area is let's say length into length. Okay, so what I want to explain here is, see, look at this. I want to calculate the area. Here formula for volume is same, that is I want to calculate area of base and into height. Here also the formula is same, area of base into height, but the way area is calculated for this cylinder is different than the way area is calculated for a square box. Okay, so in this particular example what we are getting is that we have two methods, one is volume and second one is area. Volume remains same for both the shapes, but the way area is calculated is different. Okay, so if let's say I have created a new class, sorry, just a second, I wanted to create a new slide. So here if I have created a class, let's say shape, okay, which has two methods, volume and cylinder, sorry, volume and area. Let's say it has these two methods. I created a class with name shape and it has two methods, volume and area. Now there are two more classes which inherits it. Let's say one is cylinder, okay, in which we have implementation, in which also we need volume, okay, and we need area. And then we have another class where let's say that is cuboid, and here also we need volume and we need area, right? These are three classes. Now this is one class, this is second, this is third. One way is define a cylinder, define a cuboid, keep them separate. Second way is create a shape class and inherit these two methods in cylinder as and cuboid. That means this class, this shape class will extend cylinder, and this shape class, sorry, the cylinder class will extend shape, as well as this cuboid class will also extend this. And the method, which is this volume method, will remain same for both, whereas this area needs to be changed. Okay, now again one way is that this area method you can overload them, like overload this area method in cylinder and overload the area method in cuboid. This is one way. And the second way is keep this area method as abstract method, and the implementation will come in cylinder and cuboid respectively. I repeat, I have three classes. My requirement is that I want to calculate the volume of cylinder and I want to calculate the volume of cuboid. I created a class with name shape in which I have two methods, volume and area. Okay. Now this cylinder class will extend shape, as well as this cuboid class will also extend shape. In the cylinder class, we'll have both the methods volume and area, but the implementation of area will remain different, will be different. So one way is you can overload this method. I mean, you can override this method. That means you can uh, change the implementation in this subclass. Similarly, you can change the implementation in this subclass. Or second way is keep this method, area method, as abstract. That is what I'm going to do now. So I created a class called shape, in which I'll have one method whose name will be volume, and uh, what I'm going to do in volume is I'll calculate the volume, and volume will be uh, what is the formula? Formula is, let's say I create a variable double volume. Okay, and volume is equals to area of base into height. Okay, and here I'll pass this height as an integer variable. Okay, and area of base will create here, so it will be public, return type will be double, and the name of the method will be area of base. Arguments we need is we need int length. Okay, here I'll pass int length ngth, and here also I'll pass this length. Okay, and here it will be return. Okay, one thing, as it's a shape, so I don't know which shape I'm talking about. So what I'll do, I'll make it an abstract method. See, when I did this, it's giving me an error. Why? Because I don't have any body of it, right? So if you hover over it, see what it is saying. It is saying the method requires a body instead of a semicolon. So it is saying where is the body? So how can I assign body to it? I can say public and then abstract. I'll put this keyword abstract. Okay. Now see, the error has changed. Now it is saying the abstract method area of base in shape can only be defined by an abstract class. What it is saying is, it is saying that an abstract method can only be defined in an abstract class. Before I make this class as an abstract, let's discuss what is an abstract method. Abstract method is one which has only and only declaration, only and only signature. There is no definition of it. There is no body of it. Okay, so that method is known as abstract method, or you can call it an empty method as well, but it can only be defined in an abstract class. So I made my class as an abstract class. Now you can see there is no error. All the errors are gone. Okay, I'll change the return type of this also to double, and will return double here. Return volume here. Okay, so I just created this class. Okay, so look at the requirement. My requirement that was that in shape class I should have two method. One is volume and second is area. I created two method, volume and area of base. But the thing is that this area method is an abstract method. Why it's an abstract method? Because the classes which will extend this shape class will have different ways of implementing it. Okay, so here in this package I'll create two more classes. I'll create one class with name, let's say cylinder. Okay, and I'll say extends what shape. Okay, when I extend this, it is giving me an error. What error it is giving? When I hover over it, it says that the type cylinder must implement the inherited abstract method shape dot area of. That means in this shape class there is a method which is an abstract method, and the class which is extending it must implement that. So if I say add unimplemented method, that will come for sure. Okay, and here you can write the logic as it is a cylinder. Cylinder has, if you look at the formula, cylinder, the area of cylinder is pi into radius. So here it will be pi. So pi can be defined like this: math dot pi into radius. Here is length. So length into length. Okay, so this is what area for cylinder. Similarly, I need another one for this square cuboid. Okay, I'll make it a cuboid. This I don't need for now. We can take it later. But yeah, this is what I need. So I'll create another class and I'll name it cuboid. Okay, this class will also extends what? Extends shape. Okay, and when I hover over it, it will saying add an implemented method. So it will add this. Now I need to change the logic, and logic here will be length into length, right? Because it's a cuboid. So it will be length into length. Okay, so look at here what I did. I created a class called shape in which I have one method which is volume, and I have another method area of base. This area of base was different for cylinder, was different for cuboid, whereas this volume was same for both. So what I did in my class here in shape class, I created volume, which is a normal method. This method is will be same for both cylinder as well as for cuboid. So this volume method will remain same for cylinder as well as for cuboid. Whereas the other method, that is area of base, was different for cylinder. So I implemented it in cylinder class, and cuboid I implemented in cuboid class, and done. Now if I have to calculate the area volume, so if I say demo volume, okay, we'll keep this public static void main checked. And in this particular class, if I create an instance of, let's say, cuboid, let's say cube equal to new cuboid, and it will be cube dot, uh, first of all I need to calculate area of base, or I can directly call calculate volume. Length I'll pass 12 and height I'll pass, let's say, 13. Okay, and system.out.println, here I'll get uh, double volume of cuboid. So here I'll say volume of cuboid. Okay, so when I execute this code, you will see that uh, it has calculated it in cuboid format. Let's run it in debug mode. Probably it will be more clear. Okay, so I have just put a debug mode and I'll execute this code in debug mode. Right click, debug as Java application. So here you can see that there is a variable called cube, which is of type cuboid. When I execute this, I'm going inside. See, it entered in shape class, because in shape class we have this volume. Okay, now if I go inside, see, the area of base was calculated. Okay, I just did a step over. Let me execute it again. Um, okay, so I am stepping into, now I am again stepping into, look, as it was an instance of cuboid class, it executed the method in cuboid class. So the area is calculated based on cuboid. So here the length is 12, here length is 12, so you will get 144. So if I execute this code, here area of the calculation which happened, this area of base which we calculated, it will be 144 and multiply by 13. So whatever will be the value, that will get come here. So if you can see here, the cuboid value is 1872, so it is 144 into 13. Okay, so uh, when when I called the volume method from the outside class, when I called in the demo class, when I called this volume method, so which method it called? It called the volume method from shape class. Okay, this shape class, this volume method need area, so it called area from cuboid class because it was an instance of cuboid class. If I'll create if I'll create another variable of cylinder class, and if I calculate the volume, say here, okay, if I execute now, you can see for the same, uh, okay, my bad, have to call syl. Okay, if I execute the code now, you will see that for the same value, see, I'm here also I'm passing 1213, here also I'm passing 1213. This time the calculation is based on the cylinder class. Okay, so the values which it is returning is different. So if I show you in the console, for the first one it is 1872, whereas for the second one 5881 dot something. From where it is coming from this class, because the area is calculated this, for cuboid the area is calculated with this, whereas volume will remain same, it will be calculated with this formula. Clear why we need abstract methods? Simple, in simple word, if I have to say why I need abstract methods, when a particular class is inherited by multiple classes and there are few methods whose implementation is different in all the classes. Say for example, we have a class A, B, C extends class A, then if there are some methods which needs different implementation, that you will define as abstract method in your main class and will be implemented differently in different classes. Okay, clear? Any questions, any doubt? Okay, so this is about abstract class. So just few points to remember, that abstract class, uh, I mean, if you're defining one abstract class, I mean, if you're defining an abstract method, there, I mean, a single class can have a normal method as well as abstract method. There can be n number of abstract methods in a class. But if a class has at least one abstract method, then that class must be an abstract class. So here you can see, um, I created one abstract method, so this class must be an abstract method. But vice versa is not true. If you're defining an abstract class, then you need not have an abstract method. See, it will not give you any error. It is giving me an error because it cannot find this area of base method. Otherwise, it will not give you any error. Okay. So simple, if you're defining an abstract method, that must be defined in an abstract class. But if you are defining an abstract class, that may or may not have an abstract method. Okay, one point. Second point to remember that you cannot initialize an abstract class. Like I can create an instance of shape class, maybe let's say cone, but I cannot initialize it with shape class. See, that will not. I mean, if you'll, I mean, this is something known as anonymous class, which probably is an advanced topic. Forget it, because if I'm doing it, it is overriding that method there and then only, right? So this is a concept of anonymous class, but you cannot initialize it the way we initialize this. Okay, so an abstract class cannot be initialized. But yeah, you can create an instance of abstract class. So to initialize, you can use any one of its extended class. Like I can use cylinder or I can use cuboid. So this you can do. So creating an instance of shape class, initializing it with cylinder class. This is possible. Okay, any questions? Okay. So Sai, you are the only one in the class today, so please let me know if you face any doubt, any questions. Okay. Yeah. So this is about abstract class. Next we have is next topic in OOPS concept, and that will be the last topic for OOPS concept for us. That is interface. Now, what is an interface? Interface is quite similar to a class, or you can say it's a 100% abstract class. In abstract class, we saw that we have one method as abstract and the other one is a normal method, right? But in case of an interface, okay, when I create interface, right click new. This time you will use interface. We'll use interface. So let's say I'm creating one interface with name MS Office. I'll tell you why MS Office. I'll give you one example. I'm creating one MS Office. See, in normally when you create a class, you have a keyword called class. Whereas when you create an interface, you will have a word called interface. And what happens in interface is an interface can have only and only abstract methods. They does not have any normal method. They will have all the methods which will be empty. Okay. Now you will ask a question, what is the benefit of it? So the benefit is, I'll give you an example, probably from that it will be more clear. If you look at any MS Office product, be it PowerPoint, see the PowerPoint. If I go to file, the way here, uh, all the things are given: info, new, open, save as, print, share, export, close. The way it is available here, if you'll go to some other product, let's say MS Word, if you'll open that, the way a file is created new will be same. The open method will be same. Save method will be same. Though internally the implementation is different. But here the way they are created, or the way they are presented is same, and the options will also be same. So to keep a unanimity in different products, interfaces are created. I'll give you one more example. If you'll see, WebDriver is an interface. We have seen it like 100 times in Selenium. So WebDriver is an interface for us, right? Now, a WebDriver is an interface, and classes like Chrome driver, Poonam, you have just joined. I have just started with interface and I'm done with abstract class for today. You can go through the recordings for abstract class. Interface you can look now. I've just started. Okay, so I was giving you an example that WebDriver is an interface and Chrome driver, Firefox driver, what else? Safari driver, Internet Explorer driver, all these are classes. All these classes have implements this interface called WebDriver, right? So the methods which are available, like get method, right? Get title method. What else? Find element method. All those methods which we call are same in Chrome driver, are same in Firefox driver, are same in Safari driver. Their implementation might be different. The way a URL is invoked in, or the browser is invoked in Chrome driver is different than Firefox driver. That means implementation is different, but the name of the method remains same. So to provide this unanimity, or you can say that homogeneity and same feeling in all the classes, this interface is used. So look at here, when I'm creating an interface called MS Office, okay, I'll have some methods. Which all method? These methods: new, open, save, save as. So I'll create only and only abstract methods. So here, public void, name of the method can be let's say save. And see, I'm not giving any definition, I'm just giving just the declaration. Okay. And in interface, unlike your abstract class, abstract keyword is also not mandatory, because it's for sure that an interface will have only and only abstract methods. So keeping an abstract keyword is not mandatory. If you'll keep, then fine. If you'll not keep, then also it is fine. So I created one method which is an abstract method. Like this, you can have as many methods you want. Okay, and abstract keyword is not mandatory. You can have it or not have it. It's fine. So save. We have new, open. So I'll define open, then save as. What else? Print. These are some methods which are there in MS Office. Now, whatever product you will create, say for example, you're creating a product PowerPoint, let's say MS PowerPoint. Okay, and I created this class called PowerPoint, and I want all these methods must be there. Okay, so what you can do is I have to inherit that interface. Okay, now if you have to inherit a class, we use a keyword called extend, right? Whereas when you have to inherit an interface, the keyword used is implement. Implements. Okay, implements what? An MS Office. Okay, so the keyword used will be implements, and it's giving me an error that these are the some abstract methods which you have not implemented here. So when you hover over this, it will give you an option, add an implemented method. Just click on it. You will see all the methods are implemented. Okay. Now you can put the definition or change the logic, whatever you want. Say for example, I'm changing here to open method of PowerPoint. Okay. So I'll just copy it. Here I'll say save as method of PowerPoint. Here I'll say save method of PowerPoint. What else? Here I'll say print method of PowerPoint, and so on. Okay, so all these methods are defined like this. Okay, Similarly, I'll create one more class. Maybe I'll name it MS Word. Okay, so this MS Word I'll create, and this class will also implements MS Office. Okay, and here also you can simply add unimplemented methods. So here it will be save method of Word. Okay, I'll copy it. So here I'll say open method of Word. Here I'll say save as method of Word, and here I'll say print method of Word. Okay, now I'll create another class, and let's say I'll name it demo MS products. Okay, so here when I'll create instance of MS PowerPoint, let's say PowerPoint equal to new MS PowerPoint. So it will be, sorry, it will be, okay, I need to have main method. So it will be PowerPoint dot, you can call all the methods, save as, whatever you want. Similarly, if I create a MS Word equal to new MS Word. Okay, so here it will be MS Word dot, you can call save. So if I execute this code now, you will see first one MS Word save method of Word is executed, second time save method of PowerPoint is executed. Clear? So this is the benefit of having interfaces, that you can create an interface where you will have only empty methods. Okay, then you can have multiple classes where all the methods are mandatory to be have, and also the implementation you can write accordingly. Like for MS PowerPoint, you can write MS PowerPoint implementation. For MS Word, you can write its implementation. But for outer world, method names will remain same. Okay, just like I gave you an example of this WebDriver. For WebDriver, we have method like get title, find elements, and so on. There is a long list, right? So all those methods are defined in WebDriver. Now, no matter which class you're using, the method name will remain same. So you don't have to remember that for Chrome, what is the method name, for Firefox, what is the method name, for Safari. Because for all the three or all the n number of browsers, the method name will remain same. Okay. So this is what you achieve through interface. Any questions here? Okay, Poonam, you have a question. Why use override? So just like we discussed in the overriding, if you remember, we discussed about override keyword annotation. If you remove it, there is no issue. Okay, it will not give you an error. But if you keep it, then it makes sure the method you are writing after it is an overriding method. So if let's say you change it to let's say save me, then it will start giving you an error, and error it will say that save me is not a super method in your in the class which you are implementing, because all these methods, see, this same method, this open method which you are implementing here are actually available in this interface, right? So it's a super class for them. Though is that it's an interface, but your concept will remain same. It's like a super class for it. So as you are changing the implementation of methods like save as, that means you are overriding those methods, right? So as you are overriding the methods, this override keyword is coming. So if you remove it, won't make any issue. But if you keep it, then it makes sure the method you are calling after it or method you are implementing after it is an abstract method. This way, oh sorry, it's an overriding method. That's what you achieve. Clear? Okay, any other questions? Yeah. Okay. Now, what if I want few methods which are there only in PowerPoint but not there in MS Word? Then that facility is also there. Go to MS PowerPoint class and add the method which you want only here. Let's say public void. I want power slideshow. Maybe slideshow is a method which you need only in this class. You don't need it in Word class. So I'll say slideshow. Then you can have it. There is no issue. But if you'll add this slideshow method in this interface, then it will be must to be there in MS Word. So same thing is there in your WebDriver interface as well. In this scenario also, in WebDriver there are lots of methods which are available. Okay, there are few methods which are there only in these classes, in respective classes. They are not available in WebDriver. So if you create an instance of WebDriver class, let's say you're creating an instance of WebDriver class. Let's say WebDriver driver equal to new Chrome driver. If you're doing this, then, and if you do this Chrome driver equal to new Chrome driver. So what is the difference? Like this is something which people ask a lot. What is the difference between two? So a simple answer should be this method, this way of implementation have only methods and variables only from WebDriver class or WebDriver interface. So the methods and variables which are defined in this interface, only those are accessible here. Whereas this Chrome driver will have all the methods from WebDriver interface as well as few more methods which are available only in Chrome driver, not there in WebDriver. Okay, so this is the difference between two different ways of implementation. Clear? Any questions? Okay, so this is all about interfaces. There are few more things, few more concepts, which probably we'll discuss once you will go through that book I shared. So has anyone of you two has gone through that? As today attendance is very low, so I'm not going through those topic. I want everyone to be here, then only I'll discuss. If you have not gone, please I'll recommend to go through all the OOPS concept through that book which I shared, or any other book in that case. Probably if you'll find many questions unanswered, do let me know, I'll answer them. Okay. So please take this week as well. I know this was a festive week, so most of you will not get time. Fine. Take this one more week. Next weekend, that is on 28th. 28th, we'll discuss those things, those topics. Okay. So yeah, that's all in interface for now. Any questions? So we are done with abstract class. We are done with interfaces. Then next topic we have, there are few more things which are left to be discussed. Like we need to discuss final and static, which I'll discuss tomorrow. Uh, what else? Okay, I'll go through the content and we'll see what else is left. And next topic which I'm going to start will be collection class. Collection class is the next topic I'm going to start. Okay, so yeah, let's have a break for 7 minutes now, and then we'll start with collection class. And do let me know when it will be too much for today, because the concepts we have covered today are little complex. Okay, so do let me know whenever you start feeling that it's enough for today. We can end that the session then and there. For now, let's have a break for 7 minutes. Okay, so we can continue now. A quick yes if you can hear me. Okay, Sai and Poonam, I have one question. Like, do you guys have anything to discuss? Probably, what I think is this topic is very important, which I have to cover now. So, I mean, and today attendance is very low. So, can we take it tomorrow only? I mean, otherwise it will be difficult for others to carry on from here. You have anything to discuss? Probably we can take that topic.
Saurabh, we can discuss this when everybody is there. But apart from this, can we discuss something else which is small and maybe required
Let
from?
I
Yeah.
guess most of the things in Java are already done. Few more things might be left, but yeah, that for that I need some more time. Let me see if I can cover any topic. Let me just open it because this is very important topic. Okay, Puram, you're saying tomorrow I have to visit to hospital. I had gone through. Okay. So how are you now? Mm, okay, I'll take this topic, exceptional handling today. And collections class probably I'll see. Um, I guess tomorrow also attendance will be low because it's Diwali here. People has not come back from vacation. Maybe then I'll take it next weekend only. Today I'll take this exceptional handling. Let me continue with it. Then I'll ask about the class tomorrow that people if they'll be joining tomorrow, then we'll have class tomorrow, else we'll have a off tomorrow and next weekend we can continue. And today I can take up this topic that is exceptional handling. It's a good topic and important one as well. Okay, but yeah, this can be understand through, I mean, anyone can understand it through recordings as well, so not an issue. Yeah, so exceptional handling is the topic, and for that I have an article already written, so let me just quickly open that. But the exceptional handling also I cover along with Selenium. Uh, okay, fine, I'll cover, but it's okay, I'll cover now. Okay, so actually the topic is exceptional handling in Selenium WebDriver, but before that, everyone should know about exceptional handling in Java also. So today I'll be covering exceptional handling in Java, and later on we can take up exceptional handling in Selenium as well. So let's start with this topic, and that is what is an exception? Okay, so an exception is some unwanted event which occurs during the execution of a program or code that disturbs the normal flow of execution. Okay, say for example, you're executing any code for that case, and in between something unwanted happened. You were not expecting that, and that happened. Say for example, you were trying to access a file, and that file is not there. Or I'll give you one more example. Let's say you are trying to iterate over an array, and that array gets out of size. Maybe you have a array size of 5 and you have written for loop to access at sixth element, which is not there. So that is something which is unexpected. Okay. So that is what an exception is. Now, uh, what we want is, if you're not handling the exceptions, if you're not taking care of these exceptions, then what happens is your code will abruptly end then and there only. Okay, so it's very important to handle these exceptions. Some of the exception occurs due to errors, and some occurs due to, some occurs due to user errors, and some occurs due to programming errors. User errors in the sense, like I gave you an example, you're trying to access a file and that does not exist. Or I'll give you, or programming errors that you have written a logic in such a way that you're trying to access an element of an array which is out of the range. So the first one is like a user error because we made a mistake of not putting a file at correct location. And second is a logic error, right? So based on all these types, we can define exceptions in three different terms. First one is error, second one is checked exception, and third one is unchecked exception. When I say error, errors are something which cannot be controlled by user or programmer. They occur at runtime due to some uncertain conditions like heap memory get full or stack flow overflow occur. So something where you don't have a control over. You're using some machine which is being shared by multiple people and someone else has fill up the memory. So in that case, you cannot do anything, right? So this is what error is. So generally we don't care much about these errors. We take care of checked exception and unchecked exceptions. So let's talk about checked exception. These type of exception can be caught at compile time. Like as soon as you write your code, your compiler will tell you that you are making a mistake. One of the example is that if you're trying to read a file, your compiler will tell you that you have not handled the exception called file not found. Okay, because this is something which your compiler will get to know as soon as you compile the code. And for us, even we don't have to compile, Eclipse is smart enough to tell you all the errors, all the problems then and there only. Like here, this is again one of the example of compile time. It is telling you the syntax. You have not compiled your code. As soon as you write your code, that time only your Eclipse will tell you, because it at the backend it is compiling. Okay, so the error which comes, or the errors which can be caught at compile time are compile time error or checked exceptions. Okay, one of the example is I gave you was file not found. So for checked exception, you don't have to worry much because all the checked exception will be taken care by your Eclipse, and as soon as you'll write your code, they will prompt the error and you can handle them then and there only. Now comes the third one, that is unchecked exception. Something which cannot be checked at compile time. Something which cannot be taken care at compile time. They are also known as runtime exception because they occur at the time of execution. Okay, one of the example is that array index out of bound, because that is something which is there at the logic end. You have written some incorrect logic, based on that this situation is occurring, right? So unchecked exception are also known as runtime exception and cannot be caught at compile time. They occur during execution of code. Logic error are also considered as runtime exceptions. Okay, if we talk about the hierarchy, okay, in exception handling, you must be good at remembering the hierarchy. So the hierarchy, remember till this. Now in Java, everything starts with object class. Every class which you encounter will inherit this object class. Every class you talk about, it inherits this object class. It is the start of Java, you can say. So every other class will have methods from object class. Now, actually, in exception handling, the hierarchy starts from throwable. So there is a class called throwable which have some of the methods which are inherited by which are inherited by exception class. Then in exception class there are many. We have to take care of this runtime exception. So for us, main hierarchy starts from here. That is runtime exception. Okay, now in runtime exception, you have arithmetic exception, illegal argument exception, class cast exception, index out of bound exception, and so on. There is a long list. How will you get to know? Just what are the different classes? So for that, the best location where you can go is go to Google and search for um, Java docs documentation. Open the Java documentation. For that case, you can open now any, 7, 9, 8, whatever is available, you can get that and search for exception. Okay, open any exception you see. Okay, and here you have this runtime exception. Here is the hierarchy given. See, object inherited by throwable, inherited by exception, inherited by runtime exception, and now come here. And then these are some of the classes which inherits this runtime exception. Okay, so this is a long list. Now, don't you don't have to go through all. There are few which you should know. Okay, like if you see here, we have no such element exception, or we have null pointer exception. Null pointer exception is when an object gets equal to null. That is null pointer exception. This is very important. I mean, you should know how to handle null pointer exception. So everywhere you're writing the code, you should have a null check, which we'll see in frameworks as well. In the frameworks, we'll see this in detail that will put all the null checks so that nowhere you should get a null value. Okay. And then here you can see arithmetic exception. So if any exception is coming, like if you're trying to divide 1 by 0, that means you are getting arithmetic exception, right? Like this, there is a long list. File system not found, security exception, no such element, so no such mechanism, index out of bound will be there. Uh, so if I search let me search out of, yeah, here it is, index out of bound exception. So if you open it, you will see that this index out of bound is inherited by array index out of bound as well as string index out of bound. So array index out of bound is where when your array gets out of bound, and string index is when strings get out of bound. So this is like a hierarchy. So this you have to remember. And if you want to learn about a particular exception type, just open that exception type and read it from here. Throws to indicate that an index of some sort, such as array or string, is out of range. Out of range means let's say you have defined an array of size 5 and you're trying to access its sixth element or seventh element. Then this exception will occur. Okay, so it is of two types. One is array index, second is string index. So if you open array index, you can read about array index. You can read through to indicate that an array has been accessed with an illegal index. The index is either negative or is equal to the size of the array, greater than or equal to the size of the array. I told you that you have an array of size 6 and you are trying to access its seventh element or eighth element, then this exception will occur. Clear? Okay, so this is hierarchy. Now we have a use of hierarchy as well. I'll explain in some time. And these are few classes which you can just go through, which I felt that I've seen multiple times coming. Arithmetic exception, legal argument exception, and so on. But don't go through all the exceptions. Once you'll find any exception, then we'll handle it. Otherwise, these are few which you should know about. Okay. So this is about exception. So if we quickly recap, what is an exception? Exception is something which is unwanted, which you don't want to appear, but they comes. That is what exception is. There are three types. One is error, second is checked exception, and third is unchecked exception. When I say what is error, error is something which occurs uh, where user does not have a control. Say for example, heap memory get full or stack overflow occur. That is something which you don't have a control over. Okay, so that is something which comes under error. Second is checked exception. Checked exception is something which can be caught at compile time. So your compiler will prompt you with the exception which might occur. Okay, so before executing the code only, you can fix that and proceed. Third one is unchecked exception. Unchecked exception is also known as runtime exception. These are something which occur at runtime while executing the code. Your logic error is also considered as runtime exception. Okay, so yeah, these are three types. Any questions till now? Anyone? Yes, no, maybe? Any questions, Poonam Sai? Okay, fine. So next is try catch. I mean, how to handle them. Before we handle them, let's see what happens if you get an error. So I'll create one more package inside it. Day 11 dot exception handling. Uh, let's give it a name. Any name? Exception handling one. Okay. So in exceptional handling, let's say I created an integer array of, let's say, size AR, name ARR, and the size of the array is let's say 5. Guys, just give me a second. I have a call to attend and it's important. Just give me a second. Okay. Okay, so here you can see I created an integer array ARR and the size of the array is, let's say, 5. Okay, now I am assigning values to it. Let's say ARR of 0, I assigned it to maybe 10. Okay, so I'll copy it. Okay, so I defined an array with these values. My bad, I forget main method. Okay, now I'm applying a for loop. Int I equal to 0 and I less than equal to, I'm putting less than equal to here, and I said arr dot length, then I plus plus, and here I'm trying to print this value, let's say arr of I. So when I execute this code, you can see that as soon as the index I reaches 5, okay, because the length of this will be 5, so I equal to 0 will start from 0, less than equal to 5, so till 4 everything was fine. As soon as it reaches 5, some exception has occurred. If you look at carefully, it is saying exception in thread main. That means there is an exception in main thread. There can be n number of threads. One of the thread is main, so it is the exception is coming here. What exception you are getting? You're getting array index out of bound exception, where at index 5. So this is the message. You're getting an exception at 5. Index is 5. Okay, and it also tells you line number. So you're getting an exception at line number 16. So if you see, line number 16 has the code to print. So there exception is occurring. So that's something which will get print if you run it normally. Okay, if you run it without any exception handling. Clear? Any doubt here? Okay, so let's move on. Now I'll explain you try catch, like what you can do with try catch. So in the same example, what we are going to do is, let me create another class, exception handling part 2. Okay, in this particular class, what I'll be doing is, in the main method, now I'll write something in try, okay, and then I'll put a catch. Okay, so what you will write in try? Something which you expect to throw an exception. Like here, I want that, what happened? I closed that. Okay, so what I find is that this piece of code, uh, sorry, I forget to copy the remaining one also. This particular piece of code is expected to throw some exception, right? So what I did, I put it in try. And if here some exception will occur, we'll catch that in one of the catch block. So here I'll say exception E, that means exception is occurring, handle it here, and what you want to do is, that's your choice, what you want to achieve here. So for example, here I'm simply saying exception occurred. Okay, so I just did this. Now if I execute this code, you will see that the message which we were getting in the red is not getting printed, but here you're getting exception occurred. Something which um, we wanted. Clear? Now, any questions here? So what it is happening is, here wherever an exception will occur, your code will come out of that and will go in one of the catch block. Now the thing is, you can have multiple catch blocks as well. Like here, you can have one catch and you can have another catch block. The thing is, here it is giving an error duplicate unreachable code. The thing is that the exception you are adding, like in the catch blocks, whatever exceptions you are adding, they must be in an hierarchical order. And hierarchy always comes from down to up. That means if you are talking about index out of bound, then the lowest hierarchy is either array or string. These two are at same level. Either array index out of bound or string out of bound, both are at same level. So first any one of the two will come, then comes this, then comes runtime, then comes exception, then comes throwable, and then comes object. So here, if let's say I put this index out of bound, if I put this index out of bound exception after exception, you will get an error stating unreachable code, because whatever exception will come here, that is getting caught here. Okay, that is being caught here. So it will never, your code will never reach here. But if you have kept it other way around, that your index out of bound is above and your exception is here, then you will not get an error. Because if any index out of bound exception will occur, that will be handled here, but any other exception which will occur, that will come and will be handled in this. Okay, so any index out of bound will be handled in this, any exception will be handled in this. If you need to even classify, let's say you want that for array index I want something else, for index out of bound I want something else, then you can have a catch block, but remember to put it before this. So exceptions will come like this. Whatever exception occur, it will check first catch. If it can be handled there, we'll handle there. Otherwise, we'll go to the next one, we'll go to the next one, we'll go to the next one, and so on. So this is how your exceptional handling or a try catch block is done. Okay, and I guess I answered your question as well. So the exception type need not to be specific one, but yeah, if you want something different to be done at different exception type, then yes, you can specify the name. Otherwise, just give the exception, or if you have the name, then you can do this. This must be there. I mean, this will always be there. This exception will always be there. Okay. So this is about try catch and try one single try, multiple catch. So this is one interview question as well. Like people ask questions like, can we have multiple catch block? The answer should be yes. What should be the hierarchy? It is down to up. That means if I talk about index or out of bound, then array index out of bound or string index out of bound should come first. Any one of the two. In between array and string, there is no hierarchy. You can put anyone up and down because they are independent. Both of them depends on index out of bound. So index should come next, then runtime, then exception, then throwable, and then objects. This should be the hierarchy. If they are independent of each other, then you can put anyone above, any other down. No issues. Clear? Okay, so if I go check exceptional handling is done. Next is throws keyword and throw keyword. These are two more things which are left. They are little and throws keyword is little complex to understand, but yeah, very good concept. So what do you want? Should I cover it today or maybe in the next class? Can I continue now or want me to do it in the next class? Okay, for you anything is fine. What about Poonam you? Can I continue? Okay, fine. So let's see these two more concepts and guys, let's take it in the next class only because it will take almost 20 to 25 minutes and will be little complex. I mean, will be too much for today. Okay, and it's a very important concept as well. I want it to be covered with detail. So let's take it in the next class. Okay, and one more thing. For tomorrow's class, I'll let you know. I'll just put it in group. If we'll have a good audience, then we'll have a class tomorrow. Otherwise, we'll have a class next weekend. Okay. Throws and throw keyword will both discuss in detail, and then probably I'll explain you the difference also, Sai. Okay. So yeah, that's all for today. We'll continue from here, from throws and throw, in the next class. And next class, whenever we'll have tomorrow or next weekend, uh, we'll discuss this exceptional handling when we'll also cover collection class. Okay. And after that, most of the things in Java will be done. We'll switch back to Selenium. We'll complete the Selenium, and then we'll start with the design patterns and frameworks. Before that we have testng as well, so two classes will be dedicated to testng. So next class most probably will have most of the things done in selenium, in java, and then two more classes for selenium, and then we can start testng. So you can say after three class I'll be in a shape to start testng. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you so much for joining. See you tomorrow or maybe next weekend. Uh, we'll continue from here. Thanks, everyone. I mean, thanks, both of you. See you next weekend.